The Fallout series, without a doubt, is one of the best franchises in the gaming landscape. While that statement is loaded with opinion and bias, it's not exaggerated. Fallout, as an IP, has been one of the most successful projects of the last 2 decades. Most titles in the series are both commercially and critically acclaimed. With few exceptions, each world we explore in the Fallout games is flushed with things to find, people to meet, and a wasteland to discover. While the Fallout games offer some of the best exploration and open worlds in the gaming industry, this is not the only reason so many fans have fallen in love with the series. The stories of these games resonate with millions of people worldwide, and in each game, we experience some of the most memorable gaming moments of all time. In this video, I will talk about each Fallout game and what I consider the most memorable moments from each game. The only rules that I am setting for myself is that I can only name 3 moments per game. I'm also sticking to the mainline series: Fallout, Fallout 2, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4. I am excluding Fallout Tactics, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, Fallout Shelter, and Fallout 76 because I personally do not consider these games to be a part of the mainline series. Some argue that while these games are technically spin-offs, New Vegas would fall into the same category. New Vegas was built off of Fallout 3's engine to expand the Fallout experience that we were already getting at the time. The difference I see between Fallout New Vegas and the others mentioned is that each of them left the traditional Fallout gameplay behind, which changed the game's feel. In contrast, New Vegas feels like it could have been Fallout 4. Tactics takes the Fallout setting and gives us a decent squad-based shooter. Brotherhood of Steel used the Snowblind engine that was used for Dark Alliance and gave us a dull run-and-gun experience with a Fallout skin. Shelter is a grindy mobile game with Fallout features. Fallout 76 takes the series online, which changes up quite a bit with the formula. So, taking that information into consideration, let's talk about the most memorable moments of the Fallout series. First, of course, we come to Fallout, a post-nuclear role-playing game. While some people today may think it's impossible that games that look like this could have amazing and memorable moments, the first entry in the Fallout series is filled with them. The first for me is finding Shady Sands. We start Fallout by being thrust into the wasteland. This is the first time we are leaving the safety and comfort of Vault 13. We must navigate a dark cave filled with aggressive rats until we finally reach the opening. The game makes a point to tell us this is the first natural light we have ever seen. This is a pretty heavy situation to start off with. Still, the intrigue sets in about what could be out there. What does this game have in store for us? Leaving the cave and coming to the world map, we have the location of Vault 15. As far as we know, this is just another old vault like the one we live in, and as we get closer to the spot, another location pops up on the map. This is Shady Sands. Seth guards the gate while Razlo tends to the sick and injured. Aradesh is the town leader, and his daughter Tandy wanders the town bored out of her mind. Of course, we can also find Ian here, the first companion we can meet and one of my favorites of the series. Setting out into the world of Fallout for the first time, you are still determining what to expect in the wasteland. To find such an idyllic settlement as soon as you leave the vault is a bit jarring, though it's welcoming. Shady Sands would go on to become the capital of the NCR. It all started from this little camp in the middle of the wasteland, with some of the dwellers of the nearby Vault 15. All of this makes Shady Sands, and our first time finding it, very memorable to me, and I feel like it absolutely belongs on the list. Next would have to be seeing the FEV vats and getting dipped yourself. One of the most extraordinary things about the original Fallout game is how many choices the developers give the player regarding how they want to finish the game. One of the endings, which most would consider the bad ending, shows the Vault Dweller reporting to the super mutants, revealing the location of Vault 13, and subsequently getting dipped in the FEV vats for their troubles. The fact that we can leave Vault 13 and immediately go to Mariposa military base, report to the lieutenant, and end the game by dooming everything that we were supposed to be fighting for is brilliant, and it stands out in my mind as one of the most memorable moments from the entire series. Since we can only pick 3 per game, the last one for me when it comes to the first Fallout is when we finally meet the Master. During our entire adventure in Fallout, we constantly hear about the Master, Richard Gray. The game sets the scene for a truly masterful encounter, and while we have seen some strange stuff out in the wastes, nothing quite prepares you for the first time you visit the Master. Not only do we come to the cathedral, which on its own is a very memorable experience, with big screens and creepy messages and images flashing on them, robed figures hiding in the shadows, but the church setting itself really driving home an overbearing tone. Still, when we finally meet the Master, it's incredible.
So what shall it be? Do you join the Unity, or do you die here?
Join.
Die!
Join.
Die!
This is only multiplied by the choices we have when facing the Master. Depending on your decisions in-game, you can talk the mutant leader out of his master plan using logic and evidence that it will fail from the Brotherhood of Steel. This will cause the Master to admit defeat and trigger a self-destruct sequence for the vault that houses him, as well as the cathedral above. Alternatively, we can battle the Master in combat and find a way to destroy the facility ourselves. The Master is a unique character in the Fallout series, and one that I will never forget. Truly, the mutant leader stands at the top of the video game bad guy list, and the cathedral explosion is the icing on the cake. On release, Fallout 2 was criticized for its similarities to the first game. While still highly praised, people did take issue with the fact that only a little had been updated from its predecessor. Still, Fallout 2 has some particularly memorable moments. Some may say the Temple of Trials would be the most memorable moment from Fallout 2, whether for good or bad, and I agree entirely. Many fans of the game complain that the temple takes too long and take issue with the fact that we can't skip it when starting a new game. The Temple of Trials is a great way to start the game for new players and certainly one of the memorable moments in Fallout 2. Still, I'm going to write this one off as an honorable mention. First, for Fallout 2, it has to be when we get our hands on the Highwayman. One of the biggest parts of the classic Fallout games is travel. We get on the world map and walk to each location we would like to visit. Throughout the first Fallout game, we could increase our outdoorsman skill and take some perks, which would speed up this process slightly, not only moving us around faster on the world map, but also decreasing our chances of dangerous random encounters. Fallout 2 had the same system, but with one added bonus for people who took the time to find it: the Christless Highwayman. Most players likely doubt Smitty when it comes to repairing a car to working order 2 centuries after an atomic apocalypse. Still, the old-timer knows what he's doing and can actually get us on the road in this pre-war beauty. Having the Highwayman is a must for every playthrough of Fallout 2. You can get anywhere on the map you need to go in a fraction of the time it would typically take you, and because you are in a car, you are pretty much guaranteed not to die in a random encounter, if you even get any. The Highwayman itself has a very striking look. The design oozes retro-futurism and fits the Fallout universe perfectly. The addition of a drivable vehicle in Fallout 2 was a massive moment for the series and one that won't be easily forgotten. The next big memorable Fallout 2 moment for me has to be finding Navarro for the first time. We learn about the base from a location that stands out well enough on its own: San Francisco. The art style of the classic Fallout games is one of my favorites to exist, and to see their take on San Fran is phenomenal. The places we can visit in Fallout 2 truly seem unique. After learning of the Enclave base, as we get closer, we can encounter a lot of Enclave troopers out in the wastes close to the shore as we approach the location given by the Brotherhood. This is a good warning sign to turn around, but if we make it through the troops and arrive at the spot on the map, we find a robed man standing in front of a gas station. This is a great way to throw gullible wastelanders off the trail of the Enclave, as Chris here doesn't seem to know anything about the secret base, unless we piss him off or convince him that we belong here. This will open up Navarro, as behind the roadside pit stop, we can find a sprawling installation filled with soldiers and vertebrates. This is the Enclave's mainland base of operations, which acts as a second home to the oil rig. Just the sight of this base is remarkable. We haven't seen anything like it until this point, and it drives home the message that the Enclave will be one formidable force. Plus, The dragonfly design of the vertibirds is top tier. Seeing them from this trimetric viewpoint is just delightful for me. Navarro is by far one of the most memorable locations of the entire series. Finally, if I have only 3 things I can pick from Fallout 2, I am going to have to go with meeting Frank Horrigan and then blowing the oil rig sky high after his defeat. We first see Horrigan out in the wastes, hassling some poor bastard and his family. Fallout 2 shows us that the Enclave and Horrigan are a force to be reckoned with immediately as we see his squad murder the family of 3 in front of us, ending the encounter with a friendly warning. For the rest of the game, we think about that moment. Players hadn't seen power armor quite like that before in the original Fallout, and the giant Horrigan towers over these soldiers like they are children. You just knew that you would have to come face to face with this monster before it was all said and done. So by the time we meet with Frank at the oil rig, we think we know what to expect, but then we hear him speak for the first time and see him in much more detail.
You've gotten a lot farther than you should have, but then you haven't met Frank Horrigan either. Your ride's over, Muty. Time to die.
Frank Horrigan is one of my favorite characters from the Fallout series. He has an interesting backstory of being a super mutant and a Secret Service agent. The Enclave definitely put their best foot forward when lining up the specs of this super soldier. The battle can be rough, but we are rewarded with a unique death animation for Frank and one of the series' best cutscenes, which shows the oil rig exploding into the night.
You haven't won here. You and your muty bastard friends are gonna join me in a big old mushroom cloud send-off. I just triggered the self-destruct. The work will go on. You didn't do nothing here except seal your own death warrants. Duty. Honor. Courage. Semper Fi.
This brings us to Fallout 3, a massive leap in the series as Bethesda would take the helm of the franchise and bring it into the third dimension. Fans of the series had never seen Fallout from this perspective. It was a literal dream come true scenario as Bethesda would make one of the best experiences in the Fallout series with their first entry. Before we get into the next few games in the series, I won't be covering the DLC in this video. The add-ons for Fallout 3 and New Vegas are some of the best stories in the franchise, and they warrant their own video regarding memorable moments. Of course, the first moment that stands out in my mind the hardest is growing up in Vault 101 and the drama that leads to the lone wanderer making their escape into the wasteland for the first time in their life. I have heard some people say they find the Vault introduction tedious and drawn out after a couple of playthroughs, much like the Temple of Trials. I can understand that point of view. Luckily, unlike the Temple of Trials, we have a place to make a save that will allow us to completely remake our character if we want to, making this tutorial phase skippable with a hard save after leaving the vault. Regardless, the first time experiencing growing up in Vault 101 was captivating to me. Coming from the classic games in the 90s, I often daydreamed about how this would look in first person. Fallout 3 delivers a great introduction to this by showing off a vault right at the beginning. The white flash between each section is a nice touch because as we go back and remember Vault 101 later, the transition makes the memories more immersive as we have fuzzy flashbacks to significant life moments from the vault. Altogether, this has to be one of the best introductions in the Fallout series, and it will stay in my mind forever. The people we grow up with, the drama that leads to our first step into the wasteland, Bethesda captured this moment perfectly, and it was a fantastic way to start Fallout 3. The next thing that sticks out in my mind from Fallout 3 is when we have the chance to blow up Megaton with a still active atomic bomb at the center of town. Megaton is likely the first settlement you will come across in Fallout 3. If you spend your time getting to know the people and doing the quests, it becomes a pretty difficult decision. Still, when Burke beckons us and gives the Lone Wanderer the idea to detonate the bomb instead of deactivating it and saving the town in the process, it can lead to one of the most memorable moments of the entire series. Sitting on the balcony of an out-of-place tower in the wasteland, we find Alistair Tenpenny, a Baron of the Apocalypse who simply wants to watch the world burn, and we can give him the entertainment that he seeks. Pulling the trigger on the detonator, the Lone Wanderer is shown firsthand the destruction that caused the world to be in the state that it's in now, and the blast is magnificent. While the ending of Fallout 3 is undoubtedly burned in my memory, something else stands out as a bit more memorable when it comes to my experience with the Capital Wasteland. Most of the wasteland we travel in the Fallout universe is desolate. Occasionally, we can find an amicable settlement or some not so blown up buildings. Still, for the most part, we see mostly destruction everywhere we go. This is why, when we come to Oasis in Fallout 3 for the first time, it can be one of the most jarring experiences in the series. Seemingly without explanation, there is just a lush green patch in the Capital Wasteland. Inside, we can find not only the source, but an old friend. Since I met him in the original game, Harold has been one of my favorite characters in the Fallout series. The ghoul is charming and sophisticated, while giving off an air of experience that demands respect. Without a doubt, Harold is one of the most admirable people in the wasteland. Considering the last time we saw the old ghoul was a century ago and on the west coast, it is surprising to find him near Washington, D.C., now rooted to the ground from the tree that was growing from his head. Of course, Harold is the standout here, but what he does to the surrounding area is truly what sticks out in my mind. It's so rare to see a lush environment in the Fallout universe. It has effectively burned the settlement of Oasis into my mind forever. Coming to Fallout New Vegas, I believe the game's opener is the best of the series. We get introduced to the city of New Vegas in a great cutscene that ends with our first encounter with Benny and the Cons.
You got what you were after, so pay up.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Time to cash out.
Will you get it over with?
Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. But I ain't a fink. Dig? You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
New Vegas does a terrific job of setting the stage for the courier to scour the Mojave looking for Benny, and starting at Good Springs is a great introduction to the environment we will face in our journey to come. Surviving a gunshot to the head is undoubtedly a memorable moment, but that, combined with the mystery of who exactly Benny is, adds up to a solid experience. Meeting Victor in Good Springs only adds to the scenario and paints a picture that will stay in your head for a lifetime. Next, for New Vegas, my mind takes me to the RepCon test site, where we meet Jason Bright and his followers. Not only is Jason himself pretty memorable, as we don't see any other glowing non-feral ghouls, but the payoff to the quest he offers will always stay in my mind. Jason wants help with some rockets to get his clan to the far beyond. New Vegas gives us a few ways to complete the mission, even allowing the courier to sabotage the trip. Still, seeing the rockets launch for the first time is wonderful, and we see little like it in the rest of the series. I should use this time to explain that there is a common misconception that Jason takes his followers into outer space or perhaps another planet where they can vibe on high radiation levels. While this is a delightfully sci-fi way of looking at the quest, it's far more likely that the Bright Brotherhood used the rockets to safely travel to Dayglow, a settlement with a large number of ghouls and high spikes of radiation, as the path there is one of the most dangerous in the post-war United States. Regardless of where the rockets are taking the ghouls, the launch itself is remarkable to see and one of the most memorable moments of Fallout New Vegas. The last moment I want to talk about from New Vegas is when we finally meet Mr. House. Not only does it stand out to me because we enter the Strip for the first time and see Vegas in all of its glory, but we also go inside the Lucky 38, becoming the only person to do so in centuries. We meet Robert House, and it's a bit surprising at first. We see his face on a big terminal screen. Still, in the Fallout New Vegas universe, this isn't so crazy. We meet all kinds of interesting characters, so having one be a digital representation isn't the most out of place thing in the world. It's when we decide to go against Mr. House that the real memorable moment comes, and we see the man behind the monitor. The now ancient house is supported by a hibernation chamber that offers the mogul incredibly advanced life support. When we do get Mr. House out of the chamber, he is really quite the sight. Some may even go as far as to say as Robert's appearance is a type of a jump scare for the player. Still, anyone with knowledge of the real-life Howard Hughes sees this reference for precisely what it is. This doesn't mean House's appearance isn't horrifying. This whole encounter will stay with me forever, and it was quite the twist to the character for me when I first had a visit with the New Vegas president.
May there be a hell for you, a Tartarus bleak, unending.
Finally, we come to Fallout 4. Once again, Bethesda delivers an excellent experience for the Fallout universe by taking us to the Boston area, the Commonwealth. Arguably the most memorable moment from Fallout 4 is the pre-war section we see at the beginning. The Fallout series has never shown us such a detailed pre-war showcase before, and seeing a household start its day in that time period is fascinating. I must say, I have my reservations about a pre-war section being involved in the game at all. I like the mystery we have about the old world, and Fallout, by its name, takes us to the wasteland after the Great War. Still, seeing this bit in Fallout 4 was incredibly cool. Once things really start to kick off and we have to make our way to Vault 111, the nuke scene that we are shown is by far one of the most memorable moments of the series. It blows the megaton explosion out of the water.
Alright, that's it. Send it down.
Almost there. We're gonna be okay. I love you. Both of you.
We love you too.
Now! Send it down now!
Hold on!
Can't this thing move faster?
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Bethesda has ensured that the Brotherhood of Steel has remained a staple of the Fallout series. This leads us to the next moment that stands out in my mind the most from Fallout 4, the Prydwen making its entrance. Some fans of the series may not have known that the Brotherhood had these types of airships, though we hear about them in the lore behind Fallout Tactics. Still, this is the first time we see one of these Zeppelins in motion and in the first-person Fallout era. This is a remarkable scene to take in as the power of the Brotherhood really sets in when we see this mammoth ship in the skies above Boston. It is by far one of the moments I remember the most from Fallout 4.
Attention. Attention. We're looking for the chick with big boobs.
Yeah, we are ready to do you now.
Finally, we come to what I consider to be one of the most memorable moments of Fallout 4. In my opinion, Fallout 4 slacked a bit in the RPG department, possibly due to the voiced protagonists. Still, there is a moment in Fallout 4 when this feature shines its brightest, and it's when we find the Silver Shroud gear and quest. Not only is the quest that we do involving the Silver Shroud one of the best in the game, but the fact that the sole survivor can roleplay as the comic book hero is the icing on the cake. When I first heard my character spout off as the Shroud, it blew me away and added a decent bit of comedy to the role I hadn't seen in the game until that point. In my playthrough, the Silver Shroud is the savior of the wasteland. I will never forget mobbing through the Commonwealth, confusing raiders with the dialogue.
Hey, look at the clown. This is my turf, clown. And I don't appreciate what you call 'em's trespasses.
Peddling poison to kids, are we? Today, you face the Silver Shroud!
Who you say? Oh, for Christ's sake. Did Kent put you up to this? He keeps moaning about the poor little kids. What the hell, right? Tell you what. I'll pay you, let's say 50 caps just to shut up about it. And, maybe get Kent off my back, all right?
Stop selling to children, a miscreant, or face my wrath.
Screw you. Waste the freak.
Of course, the Fallout series has no shortage of memorable moments, but these are just some of the ones that stuck out to me. If you have memories you want to share that you think could have been on this list, please tell me about them in the comments. I love chatting about Fallout with you all, and I am sure many of you have some great stories to share. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video, and I hope you will join me when we look at the memorable moments from Fallout DLCs in a video I plan to make soon. If you enjoy my content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more just like this. Becoming a channel member will give you access to fun emojis, exclusive videos, and supporter roles in the Discord server, allowing me to connect with you more directly. Thank you for all the support. We will see you on the next one. It has been Mantis.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die,